Hey, welcome to the newest video from the creators of Mount Ararat podcast. I'm Adam Lavelle from WrestlingDoneRight.com, the Noah Network, and we're bringing you a review of Pro Wrestling Noah, The Home. So what is The Home? The Home is simply Pro Wrestling Noah Dojo shows. No crowd, no commentary, but honest to God, great matches. Pretty much the idea being the juniors, no, not the junior heavyweights, I'm talking about the youngsters, the young boys, the young lions, whatever you want to call them, the juniors of the sport, low in age, low in experience, against more experienced guys, against their seniors, if you will. Basically, it's a way for the younger generation to be brought up in the dojo on how to do things right, how to do wrestling right, as Noah does. Well, this week's show, this is a new season apparently. I'm just returning to Noah full time. For those of you who don't know, I watched Noah pretty regularly around 2017, 18, 19. Then the shows began to become very difficult to find. I've told this story before, so I won't bore you forever. But now that I can find just about all Noah shows, if not all of them, I am covering them heavily. And I decided to, why not? I should make videos on this show because they're wrestling matches. It's a show. It's a small show in the dojo, but like everything Noah does, it is great. And the opening match of this new season of Noah the Home was Atsushi Kotogi teaming with Yatsuyaka Yano against Alejandro and Kai Fujimura. And what an opening it was. I mean, let me tell you something. Kotogi has been wrestling around 17 years, so he's definitely the senior here. Yano has been wrestling just about close to a year and a half. I believe he started in October. Yeah, about 17 months. Kai Fujimura just started in the summer of 2019, so he's close to 2 years. So Kai's about 6 months ahead of Yano, maybe a little bit less than that. And Alejandro, honestly, his 6 year anniversary will be the 20th of this month. So congratulations to Alejandro on his 6th year in professional wrestling. But as you can see, just based on those numbers, Kotogi is way ahead of everybody. So he's the senior here, teaming with the most junior member of this match in Yano. He has the least experience in this match, but he's not real far behind Kai Fujimura. But let me tell you something, guys. I've pointed this out before, and I'm hoping when you watch, you're noticing this too. The chemistry with Alejandro and Fujimura is wonderful. I mean, they are a really solid tag team. There's something, I don't know if I want to call it magical at this point, but there is something special between those two, and you'll see it in this matchup. They really cut the ring off. They got Yano separated from Kotogi, who I said is clearly the senior at about 17 years of experience, and they've cut him away from him. They really cut the ring off. And Kotogi, being a ring general, beyond a shadow of a doubt, one half of the GHC Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, that's not an easy task to do. And Kotogi got into the ring as much as he possibly could and pretty much controlled the match every time. And Yano's no pushover. Yano has possibly the biggest heart in the Pro Wrestling Noah Dojo, based on what I see and based on my experience. But it wasn't enough here. I thought certainly the team that was captained by Atsushi Kotogi was going to win this, but it didn't happen. They isolated Yasutaka Yano so much and so well that Alejandro and Kai Fujimura won this match, forcing Yano to tap out to a pretty deep and serious camel clutch. You got to see this match. It's like I said, it's a wonderful way to kick off this show. And Alejandro and Kai Fujimura, I think it's time to come up with a name for your team, brothers. I think it's time to come up with a name for your team. You're looking hot. You're looking good. You're looking solid. And to beat a team, again, like I said, captained by Kotogi, you've really impressed me, guys. And you continue to impress me just like you did in this matchup. And if you've not watched Noah the Home, it's free on YouTube. Pro Wrestling Noah's YouTube. Just go there. I've got it linked at my Twitter. And again, you can find all the links you need in regard to following Pro Wrestling Noah at WrestlingDoneRight.com. I don't have a specific link up to Noah the Home, but I do have a link up to Noah's YouTube page. So you just go there, click on it, and watch the show. It's several matches. We're going to go into the next couple here. And if they're all as good as this one, it's going to be a great little free show to tide us over until Sunday night, the 13th, when we get to the big Noah show. Looking at my notes right here, the Great Voyage on the 13th. I can't wait for that. I'll be working, but I'll be watching it as soon as I can on Monday and reviewing it just like this. This matchup, I don't really give star ratings. I leave that to the little goofballs that think they're part of the industry. I'm just a humble little fan who really likes to talk about the best wrestling in the world, wrestling done right, pro wrestling Noah. And this match is an example of what tag team wrestling should look like. And it is an example of what heart can get you, sometimes even over experience, with a big win by Alejandro and Kai Fujimura. On to the next match. The second match of Noah the Home was the story of David versus Goliath as the heavyweight Daiki Inaba took on Heyo. Now, look, I'm not saying this was a squash match by any means, but this took every bit of heart that Heyo had. Daiki Inaba, I'm telling you, I'm seeing something in this man. I'm seeing some sadism in this man. Now, I'm not talking serious, bad guy, evil levels of sadism, but there's something I can see coming out of Daiki Inaba that is meaner, that is more sadistic, more torturous. And if you watch this match, tell me I'm not right. Watch this match and tell me I'm not right. Inaba is really using his strength and his torturous ideas here. Now, some things I saw him do to Heyo here. He worked on his back all match long. Daiki Inaba was clearly trying to take the back out of Heyo. Now, that makes some sense. You know, you think he might go for legs because Heyo uses them, and you'll see this in this match, as Heyo used his terrific drop kick 3 or 4 times, and that was his best offensive move here. Daiki Inaba would just overpower Heyo just about this entire match, laying a serious backbreaker on him. And then when Heyo's across Inaba's knee, he just pushes his chin and his legs down. Just pushes him, arches that back further and further in that backbreaker until you heard Heyo scream in agony. Heyo had to reach the ropes numerous times to get out of holds that Daiki had put on him. This really was a one-man show without it being a squash, because what would happen is Heyo would work his way out of something and then nail a drop kick, work his way out of something and roll Daiki Inaba up for a 2 count, work his way out of something and hit a springing move off the ropes that would take Daiki down. The problem is, no matter how much heart Heyo put into this, Daiki Inaba's strength and power and sadism just overcame it all. He overcame it all. Made this kid submit to a single leg Boston Crab, twisted his ankle up near his neck until Heyo had no choice but to tap out. I really enjoyed this match. Think about this. Inaba is teaming with Kaito Kiyomiya on the 13th in this mini tag team tournament to determine the winners and new GHC heavyweight tag team champions. And he had something to prove here, and boy did he prove it. Now he's going to be working against men closer to his size in the show on the 13th in the Great Voyage. And here he was wrestling someone much smaller than himself, but he made fairly quick work of him and dominated this whole thing. And I'm telling you, it's still not skippable. Heyo has the heart of a lion. Since leaving Congo, he has really turned up his drive, his passion, and it shows here. But Daiki Inaba is just on a roll, and I did not pick him and Kiyomiya to win this tournament, but let me tell you, watching him here, I'm not changing my pick. That's not what I'm saying. But don't be surprised to see he and Kiyomiya go pretty far in this tournament. Now, here's the thing. Will Kiyomiya put up with Daiki Inaba's inner sadism? I don't know. I could see these two splitting up. I could see a future battle between Kiyomiya and Daiki Inaba at the end of this tournament, because I could see them disagreeing as they go forward in this tournament, as they work this tournament, in the methods and the styles they're going to be using. I could be wrong, but we'll see. This was a great match, fairly short, but not a squash match. Inaba clearly overpowered and just broke out of holds and took care of Heyo fairly easily based on size and strength. But this was entertaining, and it was enjoyable to watch. You don't want to miss it. The third match of Pro Wrestling Noah Home was another terrific tag team match that saw one half of the junior heavyweight tag team champions, Yohei, teaming with the current junior heavyweight champion, Daisuke Harada. That's a solid team. One half of the tag team champion, the junior tag team champions, and the junior heavyweight singles champion teaming together to take on two major but young guys, and Yoshiki Inamura and Kenya Okada. Now, just a quick story here. Kenya Okada and Inamura came in to Noah right about the same time. They grew up together. They came up together. They're both right around 3 years or so in the company. Inamura has been more successful so far at this point, although I would like to see him do much more. And I am pretty much desperate to see Kenya Okada break out. I've been trying to research what's held this man down. The closest thing I can find is he had a strong association with Sugura-gun when he first came in. With Sugi's group, he was considered a partial member. You pretty much have to earn your way into factions here, right? And then he pulled away from it for some reason. I don't know. I guess he was trying to impress Nakajima in some way. I'm not exactly sure what went on there, but it seems like that put him in some kind of slump. Ever since he disbanded or pulled away from his desire to become a member of Segura-gun, he just seems, now he's a great wrestler, don't get me wrong. He's a great worker, looks good. Everything about him is great, but he just doesn't hardly win a thing ever. And so that's why I'm worried here, because he's teaming with my man Inamura, and how can they possibly beat one half of the junior tag champs and the junior champ? And, well, they gave it a hell of an effort. Now, here's the thing. Inamura gets in the ring, and what are two juniors going to do with that beast? Not much. He pretty much dominated Yohei in numerous ways, tossed him around. At one point, Yohei was gripping onto him from behind. I don't know what he was going for, but Inamura elbowed Yohei so hard that it caused Yohei to scramble and barely stay on his feet and fly into the opposite corner hard. I mean, Yohei could do nothing with Inamura. He tried, but he really couldn't. I mean, he's not going to overpower him, and he had a hard time even getting any type of hold on the man. Now, when Daisuke Harada got in the ring, over and over and over, he chopped down at Inamura's knees, drop kicked his knees, kicked his knees, did anything he could to both of the big man's knees, and that worked. It got Inamura down several times, but Daisuke couldn't pin him. I mean, it wasn't going to be enough to pin him, but it was enough to slow the big man down so Daisuke could have the advantage, and it forced Inamura to tag out to Kenya Okada, and here's where the problem came. Now, this is coming from a man who likes, respects, and is a fan of Kenya Okada when I say this, but Kenya Okada came into the ring, and I think sometimes he's just overly exuberant as well. His passion and his desire to finally break through gets the best of him, and he stayed in this tag team match entirely too long. For the last 5 minutes of the match or so, Kenya Okada didn't even attempt to tag in Inamura, and he should have. He should have at least made the attempt to tag his partner in on 2 different occasions in the very least that I saw. But instead, his drive and his passion, which is respectable, and I like it a lot, kept him in the ring longer than it should have. And Yohei and Harada worked back and forth, tagging in and out, while Okada stayed in there on his own. And it was to his detriment. He could not overcome dual champions like that, and he gets pinned. And Inamura trying to get in the ring to save him at the final pin, where Daisuke Harada just did the rollback on him with his legs hooked. Yohei knew. He had seen his partner, Daisuke Harada, work over Inamura's legs and knees the entire match. Any chance that he got, he just ran across the ring and drop kicked Inamura in one of his knee. I think it was his left knee. Down he went. He couldn't save his partner, and Harada and Yohei get the win in the 1-2-3. I mean, this is clearly, the theme of this show, Noah Home, is, as I said at the start of the show, is the more experienced, the more senior guys working with the younger guys. And that is exactly what we had here, an extremely experienced team. I mean, Yohei and Harada have been around a long time. I'm not going to remember how many years, but 15 plus. Harada has held the junior heavyweight championship 5 times in 15 years. Yohei has probably held the junior tag champions at least that many times with different partners. I know he's been a multiple time GHC junior tag team champion. And there's just no way these two young guys are going to overcome this. I think Inamura stood a shot with his size and his strength. And while Kinya Okada is quite a large boy too, especially those tree trunk legs, his exuberance and excitement kept him in the match too long when he had more than one opportunity to tag out and should have done it. He didn't do it, and it cost them this match. It was an excellent match, the perfect match if you want to see two seniors versus two younger guys. This was perfect for that. You saw how experience overcame strength and determination here, even though strength and determination in Inamura and Okada was superb and fun to watch, and could have maybe overcome the seniors in the end if Inamura could have got back in the ring, but Okada didn't allow that to happen, and he goes down with a pinfall, and the two junior champions, one half of the tag champions and the singles junior champion, win it in a really good matchup between kind of mismatched teams, unfortunately, but definitely worth checking out. Definitely. Finally, the last match, easy for me to say, the last match of Pro Wrestling Noah the Home was Super Crazy, the 34-year veteran, against Junta Miyawaki, 4 years experience in the business, 30-year difference in experience here. You talk about the highlight of the home. This is what we're talking about. This is Junta's chance. And he took every opportunity he had, because when someone of Junta's size and experience faces somebody with Super Crazy size and experience, there's only one thing they can do, and that's try to use their speed and technical ability to take down the crazy, no pun intended, experienced Super Crazy, who takes crazy amounts of punishment. I keep using the word crazy unintentionally. Super crazy, 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 crazy. Super Crazy has worked around the world, most famously for ECW, but he's worked everywhere. He's faced some of the greatest wrestlers to ever lace up a pair of boots. And along the way, this man has simply learned to absorb ridiculous amounts of punishment. So trading blows with him or trying to take him down with big holds and maneuvers is most likely not going to work unless you are bigger and stronger than him. And that's not the case here. And Junta is not a small guy. But Junta did get his missile drop kick in. It worked tremendously. He got several fast-paced moves on Super Crazy, got him down, got him in pinning combinations. There were occasions where Super Crazy didn't even kick out. He just meekly, barely lifted his shoulder, but that's all it takes. It kept the 3 count from happening. Junta almost got him more than once. 2 or 3 times it looked like Junta had this match won, but he couldn't wear Super Crazy down enough to get the victory. Super Crazy is also one of those kind of wrestlers that will take 4 or 5 shots to get in one, because he knows, he can absorb punishment like few others, and that deflates his opponents. And you could see that happening with Junta here a little bit. Junta, again, very spirited, very strong, very determined, and you can watch it and you can see it and you could hear it. He just shouts out. He's very boisterous in the ring. Now, that's also when he's getting beaten down. Super Crazy here caught Junta coming in. What Junta was doing was using his drop kicks, his missile drop kicks, some arm drags. He was using his speed to try to overcome the bigger and stronger Super Crazy here. But at one point, Super Crazy caught him when he was coming in, trying to do something, trying to do one of those moves, where you work your way around the opponent's body, across his shoulders, down across the front of him, roll him up, one of those type of things. And I know some people would instantly know what the name of that is. I don't. And Super Crazy caught him in the midst of trying to twirl around his body and just stretched him in a ridiculous abdominal stretch that included grabbing Junta's leg and holding it out and stretching him across. And you could hear the screams of agony coming from Miyawaki. I mean, you felt for the boy. I mean, because he's just yelling out in serious pain, having to tap out, having to tell the ref that he gave up here. But of course, he put on a great show. He did everything he could, but it's just, I don't want to say impossible. Daisuke Harada did it. Daisuke Harada wore Super Crazy down and used his speed and technical abilities to win the match when they faced each other just a few short weeks ago for that junior heavyweight championship. But here, Junta, not having the experience and the knowledge and the know-how of someone like Daisuke Harada, just couldn't overcome the bigger and the stronger Super Crazy, but put on an excellent show. Got to be the main event, technically, of Noah the Home because it was the last match, so good for Junta Miyawaki for getting in that position. But he goes down to the much more 30 more years of experience, Super Crazy, in a great match. I mean, if you want to see these young guys get in the ring and really give their all and see what Noah has coming up the pipeline in regard to talent and skills and ability, this is a show you want to see for sure, because these juniors, and again, not meaning junior heavyweights all the time, these younger gentlemen, these younger wrestlers in Pro Wrestling Noah are definitely something to look forward to as they come up. You just got to have the patience to know that in a company like Pro Wrestling Noah, 99% of the time, young guys, I'm talking with less than 5 years experience, just are not going to become overnight sensations in regard to wins. They just aren't. You've got to have the patience to follow their career, watch them learn how to apply the trade, and eventually start beating the guys that are their seniors. And that's what you'll see here on Pro Wrestling Noah the Home. Excellent show. I'd give the show an 8 out of 10. There's no crowd. There's no commentary. You know, that we're all experienced with that from the pandemic days. Now, thank God that's finally going away. But here, it's just inside the dojo, so there's not going to be fans, and they're not going to, pay commentators to come announce dojo shows. But if you like solidly worked professional wrestling matches and you're too much of a cheapskate to buy Wrestle Universe, here's a great way to see what Pro Wrestling Noah is about and why it hypes me up so much. Great show. 8 out of 10 easily. Why would I give it higher than that? I don't think it's meant to be higher than that. You're not going to see matches on here that have you waiting on the edge of your seat to see, but you're going to see very good matches, well-worked matches that any real wrestling fan would enjoy. Now, before I go, you'll see me wear this shirt every once in a while. Fling Golf has nothing to do with professional wrestling, obviously, but I want to throw out my website. Hey, this is my page. I can do what I want. This is my YouTube channel, FlingGolfFanatic.com. That's my other passion in this world outside Pro Wrestling Noah, Fling Golf. I'm not going to sit here and explain what it is. You can see the picture. It's throwing the golf ball with a specially designed club, a fling stick, rather than hitting the ball. And it's amazing. You play it on a regular golf course. I'm pretty damn good at it, and I love it. It's something I will do all season long when it's warm enough to play it. I can't wait. I have my first upcoming tournament in May, FlingGolfFanatic.com. If you have any desire to know what it's about and have any desire to get off your rear end and out on the golf course and getting some exercise and having the time of your life, FlingGolfFanatic.com. But thank you for tuning in to Noah the Home Review. 8 out of 10 easy here. I could give it higher. I just don't want to be crazy because I'm such a crazy fan, a nutty fan of Pro Wrestling Noah. It's a fun show. It's an entertaining show. And thank you, Pro Wrestling Noah, for giving it to us. Until next time, guys, I will be here on Mount Ararat this coming Wednesday with a review of, looking at my notes, we are going to review Great Voyage from March 13th. We are going to preview Noah Just Fine coming up on March 20th. And as always, thanks to the hard work of Hisame, we will go over the weekly Noah news, and I'll give you my thoughts and opinions on what she writes, just like I do every week on Mount Ararat Podcast. Come to the resting place of all things Pro Wrestling Noah, WrestlingDoneRight.com, the Noah Network. Until next time, guys, I'll talk to you later.